Dylan had been driving rideshare for a few years now. The late shift was where the real money was. Bar crowds, night shift workers, insomniacs. You learned to ignore the weird ones. At 1:45 a.m., a request pings in from a busy bar downtown. The kind of place where people stumble out after last call, slurring directions or arguing with friends. But when Dylan pulls up, there's only one guy waiting patiently. Mid-30s, hoodie, jeans, hands tucked into his pockets, sober, just standing there like he'd been waiting a while, yet no signs of being in a hurry. Dylan unlocks the doors. For Mark? The man nods and slides into the back seat. App says, Dylan checks. Heading to Maplewood? Yeah, Mark says. His voice is quiet, tired. Home. Dylan starts driving. The city thins out, streetlights growing fewer as they hit the quieter neighborhoods. Mark sits still, staring out the window. You work around here? Dylan asks, making small talk. Mark nods. Used to. That old diner up ahead? I'd go there after my shift. Dylan glances over. There's no diner, just a boarded up building, paint peeling under the streetlights. You mean that place? Dylan asks. Mark smiles faintly. Yeah, best pie in the city. Dylan doesn't reply. The place had clearly been abandoned for years. They drive on, and Mark shifts, looking out the opposite window. This intersection's always been bad. People never check before turning. I knew a guy who died right here. Dylan follows his gaze. The intersection is empty. The traffic lights flicker red, then green. Nothing unusual. He forces a chuckle. Yeah? Are you a paramedic or something? Mark shakes his head. No, just saw it happen. He pauses. A while ago. Dylan doesn't like how that sounds. His fingers tighten around the wheel. A few more minutes pass. The silence stretches. Mark lets out a slow breath. They changed the gas station. Dylan blinks. What? Mark nods towards a brightly lit 24-hour station up ahead. Used to be a Texaco. The sign was bigger. Dylan doesn't respond. The gas station has always been there. His stomach knots. They're almost at the destination now. A quiet residential street. Dark houses. No lights on. Dylan pulls up to the curb. Is this it? Mark stares at the house for a moment. Yeah. He reaches for the door handle, but pauses. Meets Dylan's eyes in the mirror. Hey man, thanks for helping me get home. His voice is softer now. Drive safe. He gets out and walks towards the house. Doesn't go inside, just disappears into the darkness. The next morning, Dylan wakes up uneasy. He scrolls through his trip history. Something about last night still nags at him. He pulls up the dashcam footage. At first, everything looks normal. The car, the streetlights streaking by, his own voice making conversation. But his stomach drops at the 10-minute mark. The backseat is empty. Dylan's still talking, still answering questions, but there's no one there. He scrubs forward in the footage. The car stops at the house. The door never opens. No one gets out. Dylan slams his laptop shut, his pulse pounding. His phone buzzes with a new ride request. He hesitates. Then, with a deep breath, he accepts. And as he pulls out of his driveway, his eyes flick to the rearview mirror. And for just a split second, he swears there's someone sitting in the back seat.